Hey guys, welcome back to Couchside. We want to talk about a political story, actually two of them. First we're going to talk about Hillary Clinton now thinking she's part of the resistance.
I find this laughable because literally she is one of the people that she is the biggest reason that Trump is president because people did not want a career politician, someone funded by the big banks. That is the reason why she honestly lost outside of email scandals, Comey and the Russians, but a plethora of issues mainly comes from the fact that she represents everything that is wrong with America, much like Trump, though, but that was the reason why people were so turned off by her.
Well, and it's clear as day to the rest of us that basically what everyone, well, I shouldn't say everyone, but at least all the young people want out of the Democratic Party is to go more progressive now.
Yeah.
And that's not Hillary Clinton. It's not the establishment Democrats. Yeah. So, it's like there's this disconnect where they don't realize, people don't want them and their baggage and their policies anymore. Mm-hmm. And Hillary Clinton, coming out and doing this stuff, saying I'm part of the resistance and going around making all these speeches now, it's like, dude, you should just go away. You lost the election. But no, yeah. I think she's trying to set up for 2020.
There's no doubt about it. She's going to try to come for round 3 again. And I think, honestly, I want to know how big her bank account is, because how do you have this much money to fund 3 elections?
Other people's money?
There you go. They're the big banks, that's why. But it's almost laughable to me. It's like, you lost. And honestly, like I said, I'm liberal. I guess you could say I'm more moderate at my older age, but to a degree, I was like, okay, I would have rather had her over Trump, but at the end of the day, no, you represent everything that's wrong with this country. Greedy, money hungry. And the way she alienated the Rust Belt in Ohio and Michigan and Illinois, the way she, alienated herself from, the South, that proves that she did not give a damn about those people. And that is why she lost. Because so many votes came out of the Midwest for Trump because he spent time there. Bernie Sanders also spent time there. But, of course, Bernie Sanders didn't make it to that next round.
Well, there didn't seem to be much of a vision for Hillary Clinton's camp. It was basically cliches and platitudes the whole way down. It was, stronger together, I'm going to be the first woman president. Yeah. She didn't really stand for anything that got people excited.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where the people that did come out and support her on election night, overwhelmingly it was just because they hated Trump. It had nothing to do with, I love Hillary, she's so awesome. It was just basically, we hate Trump, that's why we're going to vote for you. You're the alternative.
Yeah, it's like the lesser of two evils. Honestly, she could have spent more time. If all she was going to be was round 2 of Obama, which would have been cool, she could have just boasted that. She could have spent more time talking about how she was going to make Obamacare better, how she was going to, make life easier for the middle class. But no, she was like, we stand together. I'm with her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not saying anything against a woman president. I would love to see a woman president. I would love to see that one day. But I don't think she was the right one for the job.
Well, and we all knock Trump for his big ego, yeah. But what does it say of your ego when your slogan is, I'm with her?
Yeah.
Really, it's all about you? What about the American people? So, we can go and talk for days about how she lost the election. We've probably already covered that. But the point is, now she's coming out saying she's part of the resistance. It's no. The resistance to Trump is really more on the progressives, the Bernie Sanders, the Elizabeth Warrens of the world. Yeah. It's not about Clinton. She's done. Yeah. All right, so, and I think if she tries to run again in 2020, she's not getting out of the primary.
And it's hilarious that now she's coming out of the woodwork with these I'm a part of the resistance speeches. Obama just came back from his vacation saying, hey guys, educate yourselves, get more involved. And all of a sudden she's like, well, I'm a part of the resistance too. No, you're not a part of the resistance. You're a part of, again, I'll say it again for the 4th time, you're a part of everything that's wrong with this country. And you should just retire. Just enjoy your money, stay in New York, relax with Bill, and just fade into the sun.
That's what most rational people would probably do at this point. But it's just something about the Clintons, man. They love having the power positions, And they don't want to be totally out of it. I don't get it though, because it's if I was 70, 80 years old, how much energy do I have anymore to keep going and running for president and stuff? I would rather just enjoy my final years and the money I have.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit back and chill. I'm gonna travel the world. I'm gonna enjoy my grandkids. No, I'm not going to continue to run for president. I'm not going to continue to get out there and make a spectacle because, like I said, wake up. If the Democratic Party does not wake up in 2020, that's what's going to happen. They have to wake up. There needs to be a reformation because the way things were done this election are not how they should be done.
And there's not enough in the Democratic platform that really separates them from the Republicans.
Exactly.
There's a couple key things, like there's, abortion and things like that.
But there is the healthcare issue, which
there's a couple things, but it's not enough.
It's not.
Like if you're going to keep taking the corporate money, you're going to keep taking the billionaire money, you're not going to be viewed as any better than the Republicans.
Exactly. That's why it's like I do strongly support independents and third parties. I think they need a better shot because the two-party system just isn't working. The two-party system is a joke. And I think as long as you have that, it's just going to be the same dog and pony show for the next forever. No, you got to mix it up. We need more different ideologies involved. Because until that happens, it's going to be the same shit over and over again.
The other thing that was prevalent in the news recently had to do with Donald Trump himself. And, he kept being pressed on, because he's not giving up on the whole Obama wiretap me thing. He's continuing to run with this. He won't admit that he was wrong, like he still believes or is still going to put that perception out there that it happened. So now he's being pressed on it. People are asking him, like, hey, like, where's your evidence for this and all that? And do you still stand by this claim? He said, I don't stand by anything.
Like, what does that even mean?
This is classic Trump. He doesn't want to be held accountable for anything he does or says, but that's not the way the real world works.
No, especially when you're the president of the United States of America. You're always held to accountable. Birch, let's be honest here. The president is nothing but the public whipping boy. Anything that happens wrong in the country, who's the first person to blame? The president. You're always going to be held accountable. Why did you even go for this if you didn't want to be held?
Yeah, I mean, because, like, for someone that, seeks approval as much as Trump does. Look at his approval rating. It's like 40% or, like, less than 40% right now. It's terrible. And it's just one of those things where he needs validation. He needs to feel good about himself. And he can't handle the fact that the media is bringing these things up about him. And he doesn't know how to deal with it other than to just say, fake news, the media, they're just pushing a bunch of stuff out there that's not right. But it's like, listen, dude, you got to be held accountable in one way or another. Every president is going to have things that you can knock them for. So if you can't stand up to that and just admit when you're wrong and things like that, like, it's going to be a long 4 years for you.
Yeah, I've been alive 28 years. Let's see, 1, 2. That's 4 different presidents. Well, 5 presidents now. And each one of the earlier 4 have had something that the media just got after them about. It's a part of the job. You're in the public eye. And I remember I actually read something earlier, I think it was last week or at the end of last week. He said that he thought this job would be easier. At what point did you think running a country would be easier than running a real estate company? You're running a country with a military, with, a vast global economy, things that you never had to work with in your entire life. Why would you think that this would be easy?
And with no government experience.
None.
Of course it was not going to be easy.
Yeah. You have no type of executive power. At least for Mitt Romney, when he ran, he had been a governor. He was a businessman by trade, but he was a governor at least, once or twice. Yeah. So he had at least some experience.
And being a governor, I think, is actually the best experience because that's an executive position.
You literally run a small country.
Basically. I think that's better than having the legislative experience because, again, they're both executive positions. But when you've only done it in the private sector, only so much of that is going to translate to the government sector.
I mean, honestly, again, I'm still hoping that this country makes it out of these 4 years, but when you're already saying it's too hard and it's only been 100 days, that's a problem.
And while we're at it, I want to pick a bone about something else because I'm starting to get so sick of, like, the mainstream media and how they cover politics because it's so predictable now. Yeah. It's like if I put on CNN or I put on MSNBC, it's going to be nothing but them just shitting on Trump, and I already know that ahead of time. And I flip to Fox, and all they're doing is just trying to defend him.
And at 12 o'clock, you're going to get your daily Spicer meeting.
And it's just like, I hate that, like, the news networks have become so predictable in what they do. it just gets annoying.
It is. It's like, you're yearning just for something middle ground. You're just like, I don't want to see people overly bash Trump. I don't want to see people overly support Trump in his idiocy. But at the end of the day, just report the news and get on with it. Don't dwell on the same story. Don't run the same, headline. I work in in my office. We have the news on all day. So I'm watching CNN literally all day. And when he shot those missiles off in Syria, what did we see over and over again? Number one, the same 30-second clip, the same headline flashing at the bottom. Anytime Trump does something, it's like, repeat it over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, geez, man, let it go. There's other stuff in the world happening. And yeah, we're talking about it, of course, but it's like, at some point, the media really needs to be held accountable because the media is the biggest, proprietary force behind the division in this country. Like you said, Fox is either defending them, CNN and MSNBC are going to be totally trashed.
Exactly. And I think, because people will zone into one or the other, right? When you're watching news on TV, my family likes to flip between, the channels. So you get a couple of different perspectives.
My dad, too.
But, I know a lot of people, if you're very conservative, chances are you're only watching Fox News.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you're only getting, a certain lens of information, and you're not having that viewpoint challenge at all. And, that's the problem. That's why these biased mainstream media is really bad. It puts people, people do not get another perspective. They're just seeing the same thing all the time. Yeah. And it ignores certain other things. If you're someone that watches Fox News, you're not seeing anything bad about Trump. Ever.
So you think he's the second coming of Jesus at this point.
So you're, living in this bubble where, Trump's not saying all these stupid things, and he's not, running into issues as the president. So it's just crazy. And I feel like that's partially why we're here, to try and give you a little bit more of a balanced perspective. Again, I was thinking about this earlier, I think MSNBC is probably the most liberal out of all of them, but CNN is more the moderate liberal. It's we're the corporate Democrats over here. We like Hillary Clinton. It's more that centrist / liberal bias.
And to go off what you just said, that is why we are here. We created this channel because we wanted to start the conversation. We've had videos where we've supported something Trump did. We've had videos where we've trashed him or trashed Hillary. Whatever it is, we just tell it how we feel. We don't expect you to believe what we believe or put this out there so you think like we think. No, you have your own brain. Use it. Converse with us. That's why we're here.
And it's just one of those things where, again, when an election happens, it's on you to go out and research everybody as best you can. Don't just watch one mainstream news channel and just take everything they say is the holy grail. Just do some internet research, really look into the people, see what people are saying the flaws are in the person, what's good about them. You got to do your own research and put the time in. If you're just going out there day of and picking between two sides of a coin, that's not the way to go about it.
And that's how you get yourself stuck in situations where the government's virtually going to collapse in September, according to Trump. But that's our show for tonight. We hope that you tune in again next time for another episode of Couchside. Don't forget to subscribe. And also like us on Facebook and all over social media. My name's Gerald and this is Justin. Thanks.